Good morning, my dear students. In the previous class, we had discussed about handsheet concept 1 and handsheet 1. Now, let us discuss about the changes around us. What is called? Changes around us. Changes around us. Okay, you can see some changes like reversible and irreversible changes and periodic and non-periodic changes, and third one, physical and chemical changes. So these are the changes around us, like reversible and irreversible changes, periodic and non-periodic changes, and physical and chemical changes. So in the previous class we have discussed about reversible and irreversible changes and periodic and non-periodic changes also. Now let us discuss about the physical and chemical changes. Now physical and chemical changes. Now physical change. Okay. So we have some changes like making of ice cream, melting of ice, sublimation of camphor. So these are physical changes around us. Melting of ice cream, so making of ice cream, melting of ice, sublimation of camphor. So these are the physical changes what we have, and so it is mainly refers to all. And so now let us discuss making of ice cream, melting of ice, and sublimation of camphor. All these physical changes what we have. So let us discuss, for example, now when you heat the ice, it melts and gives water. So by the heating ice, it turns into water. So by the heating, the ice melts into water. The ice can be changed as water. So the kind of matter what is the kind of matter in ice and water are same. So when you heat the ice, it melts by the heating, by doing the heating process to the ice, it melts and gives water. Then ice turns into water. The kind of matter what is there in water and ice is the same. So it is a again what turns when you cool the water into by cooling it turns into ice. That turns into, this is the first process, this is the second process. So when you heat up the ice, it turns into water. When you, by the cooling effect, the water turns into ice. So here, what the kind of matter in water and ice both are same. So in this physical change, no new substances are formed. No new substances are formed in physical change. So what we have observed that in every physical change, no new substances are formed in physical change, and during the physical change, no matter is added and no matter is removed. Okay, when heat the ice, it melts and gives water. The ice turns into water by the heating. The ice turns into water by the cooling. The kind of matter in ice and water both are same. And also there is no new substances formed in physical change. During the physical change, no matter is added and no matter is removed additionally. So it is the physical change is a temporary and okay. We can get the original state. We can get original state by reversing the conditions. So we can get the original state. Original state means ice turns into water, again water by heating, and water we can get the water turns into ice, okay, by cooling. So we can get original state by reversing the conditions. So ice melts like water. when water is cooled, we can get ice. So we can get original state by reversing the conditions. So these are the examples of no, okay, and we can get the condition reversed by the reversing the conditions. So finally, what we have to write for the physical change? Okay, finally, physical change is a temporary and reversible. Physical change is a temporary and reversible. A change in which no new substances are formed. No new substances are formed. And which can be reversed. By the reversing the conditions. Okay. Physical change is a temporary and reversible. A change in which no new substances are formed and which can be removed, which can be reversed by the reversing the conditions is called a physical change. Okay, and physical change is temporary and reversible. A change in which no new substances are formed and which can be reversed by the reversing the conditions is called a physical change. And physical change is temporary and reversible. A change in which no new substances are formed which can be reversed by the reversing the conditions is called a physical change. Now write down. And no matter is added and no matter is removed during the physical change. During the physical change, no matter is added and no matter is removed during the physical change, and the mass of the matter, remains same. It remains same. So mass of conversion, mass of the matter. So before and after, the mass doesn't change. The conversion of matter. So mass of the matter remains same in physical change before and after. So melting of ice is a best example of a physical change. So no matter is added and no matter is removed during the physical change, and mass of the matter it remains same during the physical change, and melting of ice is the best example of physical change. So this is the description of physical change. So a change in which no new substance are formed, and when they can be reversed by the reversing the conditions is called a physical change. Now let us discuss about the chemical change. Now, chemical change. What are the examples of chemical change? Burning of petrol, burning of petrol, formation of wine, and rusting of iron, and burning of petrol, formation of wine, rusting of iron, and photosynthesis. So chemical, what we have the chemical changes like burning of petrol, formation of wine, and that means alcohol, rusting of iron, and photosynthesis. So all these are chemical changes. Okay. In chemical changes, for example, take curdling of milk. When milk becomes curd, a new substance is formed. New substance is formed. Okay. The burning of petrol, formation of wine, rusting of iron, photosynthesis, all these are chemical changes. So curdling of milk. Curdling of milk. So when milk becomes curd, a new substance is formed, and we cannot back milk. We cannot get milk back. So from the curd. So we cannot get milk from curd. So that's why the chemical change is a permanent. Chemical change is a permanent change. Chemical change is a permanent change and irreversible change. Chemical change is a irreversible change. By the best example of curdling of milk. So burning of petrol, formation of wine, and rusting of iron, photosynthesis are the best examples of the chemical change. And curdling of milk, when you observe curdling of milk, so when milk becomes curd, a new substance are formed, and you cannot get milk from the curd, and the chemical changes are the permanent change and chemical change. So how can you define the chemical change? How can you define the chemical? A change in which a new substance is formed, and when it cannot be reversed by the reversing the conditions is called a chemical change. Chemical change. Okay. Chemical change is a permanent and irreversible. 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 Chemical change is a permanent and irreversible, and a new substance is formed. A new substance is formed, and okay, by the definition, a change in which a new substance is formed and which cannot be reversed by the reversing the conditions. Reversing the conditions is called a chemical change. A change in which a new substance is formed and which cannot be reversed by the reversing the conditions is called a chemical change. A change in which a new substance is formed and which cannot be reversed by the reversing the conditions is the same. Okay, mass. Okay, the mass of the individuals. The mass of individuals. The mass of individuals are altered. The mass of individuals are altered. So, for example, rusting of iron is more mass than the original state, than the original one. So, rusting of iron. So, more mass than original. So, rusting of iron has more weight than the original one. So, this is the description about the chemical changes, and we have to make all the differences between the chemical change and physical change. So, a change in which a new substance is formed and which cannot be removed, and the reversing the conditions is called a chemical change. Now, make the differences to the physical change and chemical change. Physical change, and chemical change. So, first one, it is a physical change is a temporary. Physical change is a temporary, and chemical change is a permanent, and physical change is a reversible, and chemical change is a irreversible, and no new substance is formed. A new substance is formed. A new substance is formed. And finally, mass of the matter does not change, and mass of the individuals, are altered. Altered means, so I said one example, the rusting of iron. So the mass of the rusting of iron is more than that of the original state. So physical change and chemical change. Physical change is a temporary and chemical change is a permanent. Physical change is a reversible and chemical change is irreversible, and no new substance is formed in physical change and a new substance is formed in chemical change, and mass of the matter doesn't change, it remains the same, and mass of the individuals are altered. So physical change and chemical change. What is meant by physical change? A change in which no new substances are formed and which can be reversed by reversing the conditions is called physical change. And what is meant by chemical change? A change in which a new substance is formed and which cannot be reversed by reversing the conditions is called a chemical change. So okay students, this is the class of the today. So some more concepts we have to learn by tomorrow. Okay.